what is this? The fifth round of negotiations? At least it's good news that they're still talking.
Yeah, this would be the fifth round of formal face-to-face talks. There have been working-level discussions, but nothing significant. And that none of these negotiations, the past four rounds, have bared any fruit. The last session was in August when David Malpass, the Undersecretary of Treasury, met with the Vice Commerce Minister, Wang Shouwen, and they didn't necessarily come to any agreements that were made public, at least. And that's where we stand right now, this stalemate and threats of further tariffs from Donald Trump. This time it's going to be, according to sources familiar with the situation, the Treasury Secretary himself, not his Undersecretary, Steve Mnuchin, would lead the talks. At least he and other senior officials were the ones that extended the invitation to the Chinese. If China agrees, the sources are telling us that the talks would likely be held in Washington, D.C. No date set, but I would assume it would be fairly soon. Economic advisor to the White House, of course, Larry Kudlow, has confirmed that the invitation has been sent and that communication with Beijing has picked up a notch, and any talks would be a good thing. No promises, though. There might be a breakthrough, though.
No promises, managing expectations. What hope is there that these talks will bear more fruit than previous negotiations?
Yeah, well, I'm a bit of a skeptic on this because if you want quick deliverables, it's going to be very difficult to get that from China if you are the White House. So, you know, a big tanker cruising on the ocean takes a long time to make a turn, and we're talking about structural changes for China. So it's interesting because Larry Kudlow says that the Chinese have not come to the table with enough concessions, or they've offered very few concessions. So the thing is what's going to be acceptable to the White House? Larry Kudlow does say that Donald Trump is willing to meet with Xi Jinping, possibly as early as November at the G20 in Argentina. But again, you know, Beijing has previously said what the U.S. has submitted as far as its list of demands are unworkable. So I'm not so sure, even though meeting face-to-face is a good thing, I'm not so sure that they're going to meet, you know, find common ground.